welcome to Food for Thought. I am Ramona Singh, and I'm so happy to be here with you every Sunday at 10 a.m., 4 p.m., and 10 p.m. We bring you this brand new show only on Channel Y. And joining me today is Group Editor Yudhvir Jaswal. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Ramona ji. How are you? And hope all our viewers are also doing great. Thank you.
Yes, and so today's topic is very exciting. It's about how much money do you actually need? How much money is enough? Right? And I know we touched on this topic just a little bit on previous episodes, but I know we got good feedback and people wanted to hear more about this. And so, you know, it's a great topic.
I'm sure it's a great topic, and you should ask yourself, how much money do you need? How much money is enough? I think moving forward, I'll just classify into 4 different stages. The stage 1 being, when people are poor, in poverty, or they're just trying to, make both ends meet. That's one thing I'll consider stage 1. Stage 2 is that, yes, when you have enough money, but you're not able to save anything. So your needs are being met month after month, but you're not able to save anything. Stage 3 being, yes, now you have enough money. Now you know that if there is any rainy day or you need any money to donate or do anything, you're taking care of your vacations, your any needs are being taken care, and you still have some sort of surplus money, some sort of savings. I think that's what I call as stage 3. Stage 4 being that you have so much money that you sure know that you're not going to spend the money for your entire life. So that I would consider as stage 4. I'm not sure which one would you pick. I'm sure the poverty thing or the thing, nobody wants to be in that stage 1, but stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4. Which one would you pick?
Absolutely. I think I'm still in the process of making money, but I'm blessed enough to have my basic necessities met. I also have money of things that I want to spend on things I'd like to do and also be able to save. So, but it's very interesting that you say this, because just recently I was listening to a rabbi and his concept of like money and kosher money. And it's very interesting how he described that it's not so much like the need for money in society makes you interact with other human beings. So if you had all the money you needed and all the resources, would you then be a hermit and live by yourself, not needing to actually go out into the world, not needing to actually work? And so money, in a way, it's a blessing because it gets you to go and have a career, a job where you're interacting with other people, where connections are being made, and where it's taking you from those connections. So it was very interesting when he stressed on the fact that it's not about how much money you need to make. Don't focus on the money. Focus on the relationships that are coming from it. Where is this leading you to? What impact are you having? Because what was interesting is in a previous episode you said, when we talked about parenting, you said you had 8 children, and then you listed everybody that you work with. Yeah. Surely that before they joined, they were joining for a job, and a job means to make an income, right? They weren't thinking, I'm going to go join this company and then have somebody who's as close to me like a parent or a family member. So it's interesting that because first is your need for money to be able to have, your survival needs met and the things that you'd like to accomplish, but it's really where is it taking you? And one thing very interesting for me is because I've had different careers, I had a chance to think about the money that I'm receiving for the work that I'm doing. Do I like what I'm doing, right? Are my interactions making me feel good? Am I having a positive impact on others? And is this changing me because of the culture I'm in, because of the industry I'm in, right? So it's very interesting what money translates into, not just there's money in your bank and money out of your bank. There's so much more to it.
Wow. I think you made some very good points here, and I couldn't agree more on all these points. And for me as well, there was a time when I definitely thought that how much money do I need? And I think everyone should ask this question. You're right, the rabbi said the right thing, because money won't stay. Money will keep on moving from one place to other. Does it stay? No, it keeps on moving. And the interesting part is, if you're a bad manager of money, money won't stay with you. If you're a good manager of money, money will come to you. That's another part, because money keeps on moving. Now, I think everybody wants a great life. Everybody wants a good life. But the key to having a great life, a good life is, and money is definitely a part of that, But the key to having a good life, great life is ask yourself great questions. I just interviewed somebody a few minutes ago, and as a journalist, I get this very often. Great question, good question. But I think we should ask ourselves as well. Great questions, good questions. If we are asking ourselves great questions, good questions, our life will be great, our life will be good. If we are asking ourselves awesome questions, our life will be awesome. So first of all, ask ourselves great questions, good questions. So then that way what will happen, we'll also ask ourselves, how much money do I need? I've been asking this question for years to myself. I think I kind of figured out how much money do I need. And I'll tell our viewers, don't get overwhelmed. Was I able to figure it out in 20s? No. 30s? No. Around 40. I figured it out, and I think in the last 8 or 9 years, I've stuck with it. And I think for the rest of my life, I know what I need and actually what I want as well, because need is different. This is what I need. And my need and want, they've aligned now. My want is not any different. Your need is, okay, this is something that you need and this is something that you want. But my need and wants have aligned, and that sort of has liberated me. That has brought peace in me. So I think in the last 8, 9 years, my experience shows me, I doubt it's going to change now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for people who are just trying to figure out what that is and asking themselves the right question, there's all these equations of like, when you earn money, you know, you take 50% for the things that you need, such as food, shelter, water, like your necessities you can't live without, and then the other, 20% on savings and 30% on things that you would like. There's so many different equations, right, for people who need to figure that out. And of course, it goes back to, where do you live? Do you live in an expensive city? What does it take to have a basic standard of living in that city? How much does it cost to get to work? All those things also contribute to even getting some sort of idea, just to have a basic foundation of how much money is enough, right? And then, of course, then there's that target of like, if you have this target saying, I want unlimited amount of money, it's interesting because there's studies that are done about like the basic average income in, most North American cities, and the study showed that it was like $75,000 is is a good amount to have to live fairly decently. If you make below that, then obviously you need to figure out how to, because it impacts your, happiness and success and your fulfillment. But then if you're making more than that, the study also showed that every dollar actually diminishes from your life, because what are you doing with your time, right? Are you spending it at work all the time? What is it coming at the cost of, right? Like not enough family time, not having a social life, not having all these other aspects of having a hobby, being able to work out. So there's that balancing act of how much do I actually need to be happy? How much is enough for me?
You made a very good point, Ramanaji, but we all say this, we want happiness. But are we chasing happiness or are we chasing money? We all say we want happiness, but I think somewhere we say this, we want happiness, but we continuously keep on chasing money. And I think you said a very good point, that we should have that balancing act. Because I clearly realized this about 8 years ago, that yes, after a certain period, you're only going to add extra zeros in your bank account, and you're right, it'll be diminishing returns for me. I have to live. I'm just chasing after money. I was not about money. I was very passionate about my work, growing my work, doing more work. So I thought, no, I need to strike that balance. Yeah.
That's very interesting that you say that. So a couple of things, people always say, does money make you happy, right? The reality is money gives you security. It gives you comfort. If you're not already a happy person with your life and the people in your life and your relationships, then having money isn't going to make you happy, right? Yeah. But money does give you impact, right? In terms of what you can do with it, in terms of how you can contribute to society and the impact you can have on society. But another thing that the rabbi said was, when it comes to money, he talked about the vessel that you must have. So if you want to have more money, you got to create more vessels. So it reminded me of you when you went from print newspaper, and then you said, okay, I'm going to grow to now radio, and then from radio, so okay, I'm going to grow now to TV. You kept growing that vessel, which enabled your income to also increase. Would you say that to be the case?
I would agree with you, because recently one of my relatives, she came from India, and she asked me a very simple question. She says, what will be my initial salary? She's my niece. So I said, anywhere you go, it could be a basic minimum wage, anywhere you want to work, maybe $15, $16, $17, $18. So she said, when will my salary increase? Now to your point, the rabbi's point, whether you are an individual, whether you are a business, I said to her one thing, and she picked it very well. I said, increase your value. What is your value? When I came to this country, the same Yudhvir Jaswal, I used to volunteer. People said, what? We would give you some airtime on our radio show? No. I do a 2-hour radio show. Why would I even give you 2 minutes? I said, I want to volunteer. I'm saying I'm offering myself for free. They said, no. No, we not even free. I said on TV, there was half-an-hour TV programs, on a channel at that time. They'll say half-an-hour TV program. I'll say I'm volunteering for 5-10 minutes. They said no, we can't give you 5 minutes. Why would we give you 5 minutes? It's a half-an-hour show, 10 minutes or 8 minutes of ad, 20 minutes of content. We are good enough. So I would keep calling them. Nobody would even accept me working volunteer on radio or TV. But my only thing was I need to learn, I need to do something. So I created value in myself. Now today things are opposite. Yes, I'm getting money when I talk on radio, when I talk on TV, when I write something for the print. So now, because I created value in myself. So this is the point, whether you're an individual, whether it's about business, create value in yourself and focus on the value. Don't focus. You see, attitude is a very important thing in life. Very important thing. Your attitude towards money and your attitude towards life. If your attitude towards money is that, yes, you're focused on money, no, change the focus. Focus on excellence. Focus on creating value in business, just as you mentioned, in business or on individual. So if your focus is there all the time, people would ask me, Yudhvir, I want to know, you just mentioned you were volunteering for 3 years. How would you make money? Again, the same thing, your attitude. Your attitude. I had money. I kept on losing money because I did a job in my engineering field. After that, you go to university, create value in yourself. Okay, now I'm an MBA graduate as well. But no, what I did, if I would have gone for university, wanted to become a lawyer or an MBA graduate, I still would have invested time and money. But here what I did, I invested that time and money in the business. So I was not making money, I was losing money. I started losing my savings. I have no hesitation admitting, and I've said this many times on radio and TV, then after losing my savings, my line of credit started getting filled up. Then my credit cards were full. Then I borrowed money, I invested that money. So it was not about how much money I am getting. So for many years, I kept on struggling with that. But one thing was clear, I was focused. I knew, I believed in myself. I knew that yes, I'll see a light at the end of the tunnel. So that's what you need to do. If you do that, definitely you'll survive. One last point, this universe has a very fair value system. Very fair value system. I've realized, I've read this many times, 100 times, and anything that I ask this universe, anything, it has a very fair value system. You want it, you need it, you'll get it. Very fair value system. If you want anything in life, whether you want money, whether you want a career, whether anything in politics, business, relationship, anything, you want this, you'll get it. You will get it. So think before what you want.
Absolutely. Well, stay tuned. We'll be right back after this break talking about how much money is enough on this episode of Food for Thought. Welcome back to Food for Thought. Today we're talking about how much money is enough. And joining me is Group Editor Yudhvir Jaswal, and you've made some really excellent points about money and how much do you actually need in your relationship with money.
Thank you very much, Ramonaji. And I think, yeah, because money is as much as it's important in life, but I think we need to know how much money we need. Because sometimes what happens is we talk about financial freedom, we talk about, not being the slaves to our work, but eventually following money too much or running after too much, we still become slaves. So I think we need to strike a very good balance.
Absolutely. So what was the first interaction you had with money?
First interaction, as a child, I thought money is great to buy candies. I still remember I was a grade 2 student at that time, and I wanted to buy candies not only for myself, but more importantly for all my friends, and I wanted to brag about this thing that, hey, I have money, I can buy candies for you. And I took money at a candy store, and I would tell all my friends to stand in line and start distributing candies. And my friends came home and they said, looks like he's celebrating birthday almost every other day. And my dad got upset. What are you doing? I mean, why you doing this? So this was my first interaction with money. But then as I grew older, yes, and again, it's very interesting that you asked me today. Even in my engineering college, because we studied in a hostel, so we would get a draft every month. So when we would get that draft, me and one of my friends, his name was Devraj Karmakar. So we studied engineering together. Both of us were in mechanical. So the moment we would get money, the first thing that we would do is go to a sweet shop and have sweets first of all. So that was my second interaction with money. Third interaction with money. My dad had a credit card, in India. So I would ask him, what's the limit? He said, no, don't worry. He never told me the limit. Till date, I don't know what was the limit. So I would do shopping. I would try to spend as much so that he tells me where does it stop. He said, no worries, you keep on doing the shopping. I'm not going to tell you that. So that was my another interaction. When I came to Canada, I got my own credit card, And when I got my own credit card, my first interaction was I went on and bought a burger. I said, will this work or not? Yeah. That was funny, at this age, and it did work. Obviously, it's a credit card; it will work. But I swiped and I kept on looking whether it's going to work or not. So it did work. Another interaction on a serious note with money was that yes, I was never too attracted to money anyways. Even I was attracted to doing something passionate, doing something big. So money has never been a major issue for me. Of course, yes, I think so. Everybody needs a certain amount of money to be prosperous.
Yeah, it sounds like for you, your first interactions with money, your perception of money was it should provide a certain level of enjoyment in life, but also sharing your wealth. Like, to think that I should buy candy and share it with my friends, that means you wanted to share your wealth. Do you see that that's the case now when it comes to sharing, what the wealth that comes to you and how you distribute it outside of yourself?
Yes. I think that's a very important point, and it happens with almost everybody. I'll tell you why. If it's not happening with you, then definitely you need to work on yourself. Because as much as I was confident and I was not worried about money, because the confidence was always there. Even while I was losing money, even while I was in debt, I didn't bother too much about money because I had this confidence that yes, I have a skill set, whether it's engineering, whether it's in media now, I will be able to make money. So that confidence was there. But anybody who has some sort of, when I say surplus money, means other than what is taking care of your basic needs, then you get that confidence. Why there are many people who would open up charities today? Why? They open up charities or they want to distribute the money or give the money back. Yes, this is one reason that you have some sort of abundance or some sort of surplus, but there's another aspect to it. They're very confident. They're not focused on money anymore. They know how to make money. They know. And then they are very confident. And I think I'm very confident today that yes, I can make more money. And that's precisely the reason I definitely want to give it back and redistribute. And another aspect is, I have a very strong belief now. Blessings are very important. This is the same Yudhvir, same media house. I worked, I think, more hours 10 years, 20 years ago. But I like to, at this point, acknowledge and be grateful to God, first of all. Secondly, to the community, that now I have enough money that things are fine. And also my family being, of course, my immediate family, but this my Y Media family as well. Because it is because of Y Media family, I'm able to sustain now. So I might as well share most of my things with my Y Media family and with the community. Ramonaji, I want to ask you, what was your initial interaction with money, and how do you see money today, or what's your perception about money today?
That's a great question. I was thinking about that when I asked you. I said I gotta answer that too. And so I grew up in a family with like three other siblings. So there are four of us, and I'm the second child.
Right.
And what I saw is that you know, my older sister, you know, my parents had bought her a car, and you know, paid for insurance and school and everything else. And so I'm 5 years younger than her, and I learned by like I think age 10, 11, I realized that money equals freedom, because what I saw happen was when they wanted to, you know, take away those things or to mediate it, it was a form of control. I mean, obviously I'm 10, that's what I understood about money and the world, which is if you have your own money, then nobody can tell you what to do with it, right? So that was a very early understanding of it, and I don't know if I don't think I discussed it with anybody, but then. And so I made a decision at 10. I said, okay, I'm going to make my own money, right? Okay. So then I can do what I want with it, when I want. So for me, it translated to freedom, right? And whether now you relate that to security or comfort or just to be able to provide your basic necessities or the ability to do what you want. So then I remember I wanted to get my first job, and I was very young. I was 16, and my parents said, well, why do you want to get a summer job? Don't you want to enjoy your summer? You get an allowance? And I had those principles in my head because I had this understanding of it, and I said no, I just want to learn how to make it and learn what it is, because I wanted to have savings, right? And I said, okay, you know, and I just want you to put the allowance away, and I'm going to have it when I need money, I'll come ask you. But then I remember from that the goal was, okay, I'm going to buy my own car, I'm going to pay for my own insurance. Of course it was more expensive because it wasn't under the family insurance, it was my own personal insurance. But then not that I did anything or I was disobedient, but it was one of those principles that was ingrained in me like early in terms of my understanding of what money is, and I decided to kind of go on a path to do that. And now in the long run, I think money is still its impact, right? In terms of what you can do with it in community, right? What you can do with it, and when Rabbi Friedman, anybody who wants to listen to his, you know, speeches, it's great. When he said, like, what are the relationships you're getting through money? And I thought about it. I said, you know what, it is true. Because after a while, it wasn't about making money. It was about what kind of work am I doing in society? Am I providing a positive influence? And I think the biggest part of creating a show like this is to make sure that there's some sort of a positive contribution, or maybe it's just good for my soul to talk about this stuff.
No, I think you're making an amazing contribution with creating this show, and I'll once again say this, that this was your idea, this is your strength. You created this show, Food for Thought, from the name to the conception to the whole idea, and I think you're leading from the front. And yes, as much as I would agree that, you know, when a teacher is teaching, the teacher is teaching himself or herself as well. Yeah. So when we're talking about all these things, like today you just asked me a question, what does money mean for me? And so many memories came up that, yes, I asked myself this question, because this is, we spoke at the start as well. Ask yourself great questions if you want your life to be great. Ask yourself awesome questions if you want your life to be great. Ask yourself good questions. And definitely, you know, because I've read this many times, people say life by design. For me, when I was a kid, I didn't listen to any of these motivational speakers or any of these guys, but when they say life by design or life by default. So I think where I fit in is, or where I stand out, is life by design, because I made sure, just as you said, you had your own ideas, not that you were a rebel or something, but you had your own ideas, your own thought process. This is how you wanted to live life. Similarly, I also had my own ideas. I didn't want life to be just a checkbox, tick, 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 tick. No, I have asked myself, and that is how I arrived at a conclusion by the age of 40, that yes, this is exactly the money I want, and it hasn't changed. So you must ask yourself, otherwise you are going to live a life by default, that this is the money that I need, rather than life by design. But I usually call it not basically living by a tick marks or a standard frame. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, and so why do you think like society gives more respect or pays more attention to what somebody who is deemed as wealthy? Like I know, like we notice that the people who have, you know, like Elon Musk, we care about what he tweets and what he thinks, or Jeff Bezos, or people in the community. So do you think it's come to a point where, you know, as society, we think people who have generated a certain amount of wealth, that what they have to say is important, and there's a level of respect that comes to them?
Not respect. Success, yes. Because today there are many, I'm not saying everybody or the majority, there's still a vast majority who won't even bother what Elon Musk is tweeting. They won't bother. Yes, those who follow him, those who aspire to become Elon Musk. In my perspective, I think we unnecessarily put people on very higher pedestals and, okay, this is what I want to become or this is what we listen to them. No. You are, I think, you have everything. You are an amazing person. You could be, okay, you could be doing even better things what Elon Musk has done, and not necessarily wealth is the only criteria. If you ask me honestly, I'm saying it on record. If somebody wants me that this is the path you should be following, and you could become Warren Buffett or Elon Musk, or this is the path you should be following to become a billionaire, just 1 billion. Would I really strictly follow that path? No. I think imitation is a perfect form of suicide. I don't want to imitate anybody. I don't want to live under the shadows of anybody. I don't want to copy anybody. This is Yudhvir Jaiswal is original. My original thought process is something which will keep me alive. What do you think? Now I want to hear your thoughts on this entire discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there is a level of respect that they get in terms of like, is it important what they say, and people and it's just media will ask them questions about their thoughts. But now that we spoke about Elon Musk, what he's shown in the last little while is that he believes in what he wants to do and he puts his money into it, his own personal money. I mean, there's interviews of him saying that there were times where he had billion-dollar company, but he didn't have a place to live because he literally used all of his money, and he was and if the company went flat like Tesla back in the day, then he would do it again. And now we're seeing in this like Russia's invasion of Ukraine war, he's sending satellites. So there you see people who are actually giving back, right, in terms of creating that impact I was talking about. But what's something that's really interesting is with Rabbi Friedman, he was saying that then there's always sometimes jealousy of those people, but it's not jealousy of their money, it's jealousy of their confidence. And that just reminded me, because you said there was a level of confidence, right? So do you think that when some people may feel negatively about somebody having so much wealth, right? What are they actually feeling negative about? Where is there a sense of jealousy? And do you agree with Rabbi Friedman saying that they're not jealous of that person's money, they're jealous of how they have confidence to do what they want to do and how they do it, and the courage, I guess, to do it?
Yeah, you're right. Actually, they want to fit in. This is again the fit in mentality, not the standout mentality. I'll again give the example of my niece. She was asking me that if I go and work somewhere, so I'll be very competitive. I said, you don't have to compete with anybody. All you have to do is compete with yourself. You don't have to be competitive. And again, the same mentality that where do I fit in? And you're right, they envy the confidence, they envy the courage that they have, because it takes a lot of confidence, it takes a lot of courage. And where does courage and confidence come from? Maybe we'll leave it to some other day, but I want to finish this very important point that you just mentioned. Imagine if I'm a director right now, and Ramona, you come in and you say, okay, fine, here's a scene where there is Shah Rukh Khan and then there is Madhuri Dixit. And you come in, so my suggestion to you as a director would be Shah Rukh Khan and Madhuri Dixit, they are very accomplished actors in themselves. So when you're sharing a frame with them, when Ramona ji is coming on the scene with them for 10 minutes, you don't have to compete with them, you don't have to envy them for their confidence, their courage, their brilliance, they're already there. You have to bring your own brilliance, and work on that itself. So you have to be your best version, compete with your own potential, forget about them. Because Shah Rukh Khan, the same thing happened. I still remember, when I first time I went to watch a movie, it was Deewana. Deewana I went to watch for Rishi Kapoor and Divya Bharati. But after interval, here comes Shah Rukh Khan. I wasn't there for watching Shah Rukh Khan. Here comes Shah Rukh Khan, and I said, oh my goodness, look at this guy, he's amazing. And he stole the heart of millions and billions of people, and here is a superstar. Not because Shah Rukh Khan imitated or competed with Rishi Kapoor or Divya Bharati, because Shah Rukh Khan is the original Shah Rukh Khan. Of course, people say he does imitate Dilip Kumar or anybody else, but that's fine, but at least he has some sort of originality.
Absolutely, and I think as you're saying this, when it comes to work and getting money for work that you do and how you compete, I think it's also about the service that you give. So not so much about being tied to an outcome of what's the dollar value I'm going to receive from this interaction, or how is this going to increase my wealth, but more what's the problem I'm solving? What's the need I'm meeting of somebody I'm interacting with, whether it's my buyer or supplier, this relationship that we have where there's an exchange of dollar. And I think that's a lot more important, and I think that's where the blessing in work is, in terms of what does that relationship look like and how are you being of service, and not so much focused on how is this serving me, but how, so yeah, like there's a difference between just existing and living, right? How am I a needy human being, or am I being of need, right? And I think that those are like the like spiritual understandings of money and your relationship with it, and it's not necessarily about the dollar value.
Yeah, I think you're right. You're saying that yes, we should be focusing more on the work or creating something good, but I think that should be the only focus. Take money completely out of the equation, because even if you are 0.0, money is a byproduct. It will come. Yeah. I'm not saying you don't need money. Money is a byproduct. It will come. But don't focus on the money even 0.001%. No, your 100% focus should be on creating excellence. Whatever I'm doing, how can I create excellence in that? If you're able to create excellence, if you are able to generate value for yourself and for the organization, for others, or whatever it is, obviously money is a byproduct. So please take your focus off the money. And another interesting part, as you were mentioning earlier, when we look at money, what do we fantasize? We are conjuring in our minds of all the things which people are spending, and they've already made money. When we think about money, we're fantasizing, oh, flashy cars, oh, private jets, brand names. This is all spending. You're spending money at all the products which are going to depreciate in value. You're not understanding the basic concept where money comes from. Money comes from investing, not in spending. So you have to make sure you're investing in something which is appreciating. That's how money will come to you. So if your focus is not right, your thought process is not right, money is going to be difficult to make money. You have to understand the basic premise that how the money should come to you. Because as we were discussing earlier, money will keep on flowing. Will money stick with you? If your thought process is right, money will stick with you.
Absolutely, you're right. And we can go into the conversations about like good debt versus bad debt, but I think today's conversation is more about what is this relationship with money, and that comes from more of a personal perception of what money means and how much is enough. And I think there's also an understanding that of like, what is my purpose here? So if I had unlimited wealth, right, where I didn't need to work, what would I do? And that's a fair question to ask yourself. Like, what would I wake up and do every day that would make me happy, right? And what is my purpose here? And I think that's a big step towards understanding what you're doing here, how are you doing it, what are you about, and then all of the rest comes.
I wanted to ask you, Monali, what's your relationship with money today, right now, as we speak, and what do you anticipate your relationship with money 5 years, 10 years, or 20, or even 30 years from now?
I think my relationship with money is that money gives you impact. It gives you the ability, and it gives you the ability to do things that you want to do, whether I want to take on a cause where I'm contributing to a community effort, that it will allow me to do that because I can't say, oh, I don't have enough time because I got to go and work. There's also my relationship with money is that I know that if I work longer, it doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to get more money. It's about how well do I work? How well do I invest? What does that look like with my relationship with that? Not so much that, okay, the more I put in, the more I get, because then you're just on that hamster wheel and then nothing is ever enough. So that's why I love today's discussion about how much is actually enough. How much do you actually need to provide your basic necessities and plus some more, and then still be able to enjoy your life?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're absolutely welcome. Well, that is all the time we have. Do you have any final words on this topic?
I think finally what I would want to say this, take the money completely out of the equation. Be a best doctor, be a best engineer, be a best actor, be a best media guy, or whatever your passion is. Follow your passion, follow the excellence, and take the money out of equation. Money is definitely a byproduct, and you'll get it.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. And thank you for tuning in for Food for Thought. We air every Sunday a brand new episode at 10 a.m. 4 p.m. and 10 p.m. and we also air throughout the week of previous episodes. This is a brand new show, so please join in on the conversation. Call us and give us feedback on our social media and keep watching. Thank you again. I'm Ramona Singh. Joining me was Yudhvir Jaswal. Until next week, take care.